Welcome to Prison Wife Radio, where we play all the hits while we all wait in our car for the prison to open its gates, which is actually just really a door, and to welcome us in with open carry arms as they try to decipher which one of us is bringing in the drugs. Spoiler alert, it's the COs. I'm your host, Myra, and if you're out there listening, show some love.
There are more than 2 million individuals incarcerated in the U.S. legal punishment system.
Prison wives are a lot like military wives, without all the thank yous.
I mean, they won't show, right? So we have to tell.
The system is most definitely the villain.
Your loved one shows up to medical unconscious? They ain't telling
He's been
me
down
shit.
for 20 years. Yesterday he told me that his sentence had to be recalculated. Their mistake added 2 years.
There are more than 2 million individuals incarcerated in the U.S. legal punishment system. This is the story of the people who love them. Involved.
160 days until my husband comes home. Last week, I received a comment from a listener who said,
I like the show, but it's too much about prison. Surely there must be more to you than just being a prison wife.
listeners, she's right. There is a lot more to me than just being a prison wife. So today, for this listener's pleasure, I'm coming to you from my car, but I am not outside Thereway Heights. Instead, I'm coming to you from up the street, which is the location my brother described when I agreed to take him to a friend's house to grab his phone charger. It's just smart of my brother to say up the street. It's a strategy deployed often by people who have to rely on others to get basic shit done. I mean, once we're in the car and halfway to the destination, that's when they'll spring it on you that up the street does in fact mean across town. Better to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission, right? I digress. The listener is right. I'm not just a prison wife. I'm also a prison sister, a prison daughter, a prison niece. It means I have many interactions with the system and see it in its various forms of terror. On today's terror docket, mental health court. To recap,
Last time on Mental Health Court.
Ms. Caseworker, if you don't verify he's homeless, we can't get him into his housing assistance program. The deadline is tomorrow.
I don't know that he's homeless.
The police report says he's homeless.
Viewers, we all know he's homeless. Instead of giving up, Myra turns to her colleague, who doesn't work in housing but actually cares about people. They forge the homeless verification form, and Myra's brother gets into housing, and they all live happily ever after.
Okay, well, thanks for the upbeat recap on the sad state of my brother's affairs. Mental health court runs for a year. The quick and dirty is they hold your charges while you complete all these obstacles they put in front of you for mental health court. You have to show up every week for 4 to 8 weeks, then every other week for a few months, then monthly. Guess which leg of the journey most people in mental health court fall off at? Yes, the weekly visits. Showing up anywhere every week for anybody is difficult, but if it's during white-collar business hours, it is especially difficult for people who are tasked with showing up to mental health court. I mean, there's a myriad of reasons they don't make it. Childcare, jobs, transportation, take me up the street. Money. It costs money to park in the general vicinity of the courthouse. And most people in the U.S. just don't have sick and vacation days to cover the time they miss off work. Hold that thought for me. That's a JPay notification. Prison mail, private company, gouging families for email, another story for another time. But my husband just emailed. He needs to go to the doctor and needs money on the spendable account to pay the copay. Hold 1 second because I have to send this quickly. I'm back. It's done. Still waiting on my brother, who was just running in real quick to grab his charger 20 minutes ago. So I was able to put some money on my husband's medical account. Guess how much his copay is? Just Take a guess. Remember, my husband makes 42 cents an hour, capped at $50 a month, minus 60% to taxes, and then has to supplement food and hygiene items. $4, which is roughly 8% of his wages for one doctor visit. That doesn't even include prescriptions, which is another $3 to $4. Just like people out here, having to pay so much for medical just means that most incarcerated individuals avoid medical at all costs. It's how my husband has ended up performing minor surgeries on himself and others. Most of it's pretty routine, stitches, pulling teeth, but he did remove a bullet piece out of a friend's back once. He's very proud of that surgery, and I am very horrified about it. If you're outraged, call your legislator. Actually, email them so you have a record of reaching out. Tell them that you think it's outrageous that incarcerated people are asked to pay their own medical bills when they have no control over the food they consume, their living conditions, or their working conditions, all of which cause their health issues. Okay, my brother is coming and we need to go. I will report back after court. Okay. Dear listeners, it's 10:30 a.m. and I am now, as always, coming to you from my car. But now I'm outside my legal aid organization office. I work a full-time job in addition to case managing my brother and helping out family and my husband. Most of us who have a loved one incarcerated have full-time jobs, parent children, and then also do all the necessary things that come with being an activist. I'm not talking #activists either. Yes, posting on social media is helpful. I have said this before, but the ones down here in the trenches are the ones who are working on the ground to ensure people's needs are met while also trying to abolish the system, which means lots of meetings, public records requests, investigations, events, panels, and just so much more work. All unpaid, and it's exhausting. Designed to be exhausting by the powerful, so we get tired and give up. And we'll never give up, but there are days, like today, where it feels like the easiest thing to do because I just had to drop my brother off at his apartment by himself, even though I know he's having delusions because I have to work today. Sometimes he can stay with me, but when he has delusions about the government coming after him, the last place that is safe for him is a legal aid office full of noise and people running around in suits. Court was, court. I wasn't able to record, so I'll have to do a dramatic reenactment for you. But first, I was thinking about how I say things that seem very normal to me, and maybe people outside of the car horde might not know what I'm talking about. I think some things are fine for you to do the work on yourself or work for yourself and Google, but I do think something like diversion court requires some context and notes. So I am happy to step into the professor role for the next couple of minutes while I'll explain diversion courts from my perspective, which is to say an abolitionist perspective on what diversion courts are and how they actually grow the legal system. Professor Myra here. Welcome to Criminal Punishment System 101, where we'll take a shallow dive into some of the legal system's methods for expanding their budgets and torturing people in the process. First, what is a diversion court? I think the Wikipedia page works just fine for what it is. I know, professors generally try to dissuade you from citing Wikipedia, but keep in mind those same professors cite Fox News as a reliable source, so we're just gonna go ahead and use Wikipedia. A diversion program, also known as a pretrial diversion program or pretrial intervention program in the criminal justice system, is a form of pretrial sentencing in which a criminal offender joins a rehabilitation program To help remedy the behavior leading to the original arrest, allow the offender to avoid conviction and, in some jurisdictions, avoid a criminal record. The programs are often run by a police department, court, a district attorney's office, or outside agency. Problem-solving courts typically include a diversion component as part of their program. The purposes of diversion are generally thought to include relief to the courts, police department and probation office, better outcomes compared to direct involvement of the court system, and an opportunity for the offender to avoid prosecution by completing various requirements for the program. These requirements may include education aimed at preventing future offenses by the offender, restitution to victims of the offense, completion of community service hours, avoiding situations for a specified period in the future that may lead to committing another such offense, such as contact with certain people. Diversion programs often frame these requirements as an alternative to court or police involvement, or if these institutions are already involved, spoiler alert, they always already are, further prosecution. Successful completion of program requirements often will lead to a dismissal or reduction of the charges, while failure may bring back or heighten the penalties involved. That's from Wikipedia. There are all kinds of diversion courts across the country. DUI, drugs, mental health, and they all kind of operate on the same premise. A charge is diverted while they jump through hoops, convincing the court they are actually good people, and removing them from their home to serve time would negatively impact them and the community. DUI diversion courts are very popular because white, rich, powerful people get lots of DUIs, and the courts need to make sure they don't get sent to prison because that would be devastating for them. Diversion courts are generally held up by criminal justice reformists as their prized win in the fight against incarceration. But all a diversion court succeeds in doing is stressing people out, growing the system, and keeping some jail and prison spots open for more people. Think of how many times in your life you've heard of a school, library, or some other public good closing. Now ask yourself, how many times in your life have you heard of a jail or a prison closing? You rarely do. Jails and prisons and courts are big business, and diversion courts are no exception. Diversion courts, with their court order treatments, frequent drug tests, ankle monitoring, all paid for by the charged individual, are also big business. That's the prison industrial complex, to be exact. There's this great quote from abolitionists: if you build it, they will fill it. It's the truth. Or what's that saying? When a door closes, another one opens. But it's more like when one library door closes, another prison door opens. I think it helps to think of the criminal legal system as a house, and diversion is the mother-in-law suite they built over the garage. It doesn't mean you have less guests over to the house. It means now you can accommodate more. Or every time I get a bigger purse, I find a way to fill it with even more shit. So that's what it is. There's diversion court to reroute some people so they can fill the jails and prisons with even more people. I promise, once you're ensnared in the net, they keep you in there for a long time, and it has nothing to do with public safety. Okay, I know that was a lot, but now you've been primed. Without further delay, a day at mental health court with my brother. A dramatic retelling with narration and voices by me and some helpful exposition from a report by our friends at Court Watch, read aloud by a computer. Bless the volunteers at Court Watch, because without them, we wouldn't know about all the truly awful things that happen in courtrooms every single day. So here we are at the metal detector, the first hurdle to getting into the courtroom. My brother's agitation level is at about a 2. We get through the metal detector fine, and we head upstairs. This is my brother's 7th visit in as many weeks to this courthouse. So we know that the court is upstairs, And we're lucky in this way because many people are lost and anxious, and the volunteers at the desks are pretty confused themselves. When we get to his courtroom, the one listed on the sheet outside, there aren't any prosecutors or defense attorneys or caseworkers, and my brother is getting agitated. He has delusions, so he believes that 2 FBI agents followed us into court today, and they are sitting in the courtroom. I know that these are 2 people who are also having to appear in court because they are here every week with my brother, but that just confirms his suspicions. I notice right away that something is odd. It's 10 minutes to 9, and the only people in this courtroom are the ones charged with crimes.
Court Watch Report number 1204. Today in Mental Health Court, Courtroom 4's docket was changed after the printed docket was already hung on the door. This led to much confusion and stress by the individuals who were not alerted to the last-minute change. At 9 a.m., several individuals waiting in Courtroom 4 were alerted by the loved one of a mental health court participant that they needed to go to Courtroom 8. Court Watch notes this is the 19th occurrence of staff printing and posting dockets the night before, resulting in confusion when the courtrooms are changed.
They're right. It happens all the time. They make a late change and they forget to reprint the sheet. Oh well, it's just people living with mental health issues. Who cares if things are a little bit hectic, right? And yes, I was said loved one who alerted the rest of the room, even the FBI agents. And my brother wants the record to show I am a loathed one, not so much a loved one.
Court had already started by the time we moved courtrooms. When we entered, individual, name redacted for privacy, was standing before the judge reciting an essay.
Couple of things here, because Court Watch has to be diplomatic, because their report will be scrutinized. I don't have to be. So the courtroom is set up like a baseball diamond. Picture this. The visitors' dugout is a long wooden table flanked by the public pretenders and case managers. Lots of NPR tote bags, TJ Maxx pantsuits for the lawyers, and jeans and blouses from Ross for the case manager. 1,000 well-worn manila folders are stacked so high around them it feels like they're hiding. To the right of the batter's box is the home team, complete with home field advantage. The prosecutors, bunch of white men and women wearing Brooks Brothers suits, typing away on their government-issued Dell laptops. On the mound, pitching for the home team, none other than the judge, who's decided slumming down in the diversion courts is a great way to get on the radar of the liberal governor who's going to select a Supreme Court justice soon. I mean, she cares a lot about upward mobility, her own. Standing in the batter's box, fielding pitches from the judge is, name redacted for privacy, batting 0 for 2 in mental health court. Today's essay is his last attempt to stay in the program and avoid his charges. He'll plead his case in front of a rowdy crowd, already fired up about the delay of court. You get it, though. He fucked up, and so now they make him write an essay. A very difficult thing to do for anybody. But to top it off, they make him read it out loud in front of everybody. Nerve-wracking, right? And it's not like all eyes are on him or anything. No, the public pretenders and the prosecutors are talking amongst themselves, calling up clients to go over details about their cases. A service dog keeps barking every time somebody walks in or out of the courtroom. It's chaos. There is nothing soothing, calming, or peaceful about this environment. And honestly, this whole sham is so that cops can still arrest people for things like sleeping on a sidewalk and then tell people it's cool because they're getting services. Services. Let's talk about what those services actually are.
The court calls name redacted for privacy next. Name redacted for privacy states that he hasn't been able to find any counselors who will accept his Medicaid insurance. His case manager rises and assures the court they are working on a plan, and that recently they were able to get him into a program for unhoused individuals. Case manager proudly states that individual is living in an apartment on his own for the first time in over 5 years.
Of course, this fucking case manager is up there acting like she's the one doing all this shit for my brother. But can I say anything? Of course not, because I need my brother to get through this program. Of course, the judge praises the case manager and relays her concern that my brother get connected to services. I scream, pamphlets aren't services, and pamphlets are all you motherfuckers offer. Okay, I don't, but I want to. What I really want to scream is that my brother, who, by the way, fucking loves plants and landscaping and anything green because it soothes him, is not able to be around plants and gardens because the only housing they'll approve for him is something near services, which in most cities means downtown. For him, the noise of the cars, the motorcycles, the people, the sounds of the city are aggravating. But nobody ever asks him what he wants. And so, much like the plants he had to leave behind at his trailer when he got arrested, my brother lacks basic nutrients and care that would have helped him thrive earlier in life. And now he's just trying his best to survive in a harsh environment not suited for him. And now a break, because Lord knows I need one.
Police brutality. A new way of doing your morning coffee run. We're serving up cold brewed facts about law enforcement, 1 cup sleeve at a time. New facts served daily. That's 365 facts a year, 1 on each cup of coffee. Yesterday's fun fact: families who have law enforcement officers in their households have 2 to 4 times the average of incidents of interpersonal violence. Stop by our pop-up stand, located directly outside the courthouse, for your free cup of steaming hot coffee and cold hard realities. Police brutality. Remember, kids, don't call the cops. Call the cops a cab.
Hey, can I get a cup of that?
Hey, Myra. Hey, Myra's brother. 2 cups for 2 of my favorite people.
You going tonight?
To the, it's optional, but absolutely mandatory mingle with the Richies. Yeah, unfortunately.
Me too.
All right, I'll see you then. Come get your hot brewed coffee with some cold hard facts. Police brutality. The coffee and facts are free. The ignorance you pay for.
So I am taking you with me, listeners. We're going out on a little date. Myra's got to do a little song and dance to keep her job. Some of you were quite angry with me after last week's little light roasting of the nonprofit industrial complex. Seems some of you don't see how nonprofits work to expand the prison industrial complex. For starters, who do you think is contracting with the courts and the prisons to perform a lot of these services? Treatments, drug rehabilitation, workforce development, so on, so on. The state makes money from the incarcerated individuals, but so do the nonprofits. So am I an asshole for working at one? Absolutely. We're all propping up these horrible systems and institutions in a myriad of ways. Some of it we can't even control individually. All we can do is work to burn it down and make it better for the youth coming up behind us. But do we all want to burn it down? Fuck no. And that's the fucking problem. See, what you need to know about nonprofits is that the people working in them are made up of the affluents and the lived experiences. The power in the orgs always goes to the affluent, but the face of the orgs, the photo ops, the poverty porn, it's always handled by the lived experiences. The affluents absolutely believe in the work they are doing, and then they go home to their spouses who more often than not have a very high-paid position in finance and feel like they've done their part saving the world. These are mostly white women who are basically the middle management of the nonprofit world. They love galas because it's the place they feel most comfortable. Pretty dresses, pretty food, and they get to celebrate how much work they're doing. The people who have lived experiences hate these things because all we see is the immense amount of wasted money. The lived experiences are the people who actually come from the environments that they're trying to help. They hate nonprofits, but are trying to do the best they can with the system that they work in, and usually are part of mutual aid and movement collectives in their free time. And it's all free time because they do more actual volunteer work than affluents, way more. The lived experiences are also the people who break the rules to actually get some people help, like my colleague who did the paperwork for my brother to get him into housing. So, at the gala tonight, I'm going to be expected to delight this boring as fuck tight-ass crowd with stories from the inside, because though it's legal aid, most of these fuckers have never set foot inside a prison outside of a client visit. When they go in to visit, they're chummy with the cops, and they'll come back to the office and lie about how much they hate being nice to cops, but the reality is they identify more closely with the cops than with their clients, and that's just the truth staring you dead in your pretty face. And they have no fucking clue what it's like to actually support somebody who's incarcerated. All right, let's get the show over with. Not this show. I like this show. I mean the show inside.
Myra, Myra, Myra. Speak of the devil's advocate's devil.
Cutting in. Did I illegally record audio? It's murky. I'm not sure there's an expectation of privacy at a crowded gala that's being recorded. I mean, sue me if you want to find out. The guy talking is a board member of my org. Obnoxious, rich as fuck, born with money, but likes to talk about how he relates to people experiencing homelessness because one summer he kicked around Mexico and wanted to try heroin.
I was just talking to Judge Mauder here about this revolutionary court where people with mental health can go and get help.
Yeah, my brother was there this morning.
Then we shouldn't be talking.
Right. Wouldn't want the whiff of conflict of interest. You just run along and mingle with all the prosecutors and defense attorneys and caseworkers.
Always a pleasure, Bob. Say hello to your dad.
So, Myra, now that I've got you alone, tell me all the deep, dark secrets of the that I'm not privy to.
Would love to, Bob, but I have to keep my health insurance.
Well, you're no fun. Fine, tell me about this mental wellness court.
Mental health court, Bob. It's funny how they just love to talk about it here at galas and election fundraisers, but they never ask me or my brother to sit on panels when they talk about it in community meetings and conventions. In fact, they almost never have anybody who's actually been through mental health court talk about it.
Seems suspect.
Exactly, Bob. Now, if you'll excuse me, my husband is due to call, and you know I can't miss that.
Hey, tell the big man I said hi. And I'm looking forward to that chess game when he gets out.
Will do. So, yes, my husband is my get out of any conversation I no longer wish to be in card. The benefits of working at a legal aid org is that everybody knows my husband is incarcerated, so I don't have to keep that secret, which is a privilege because a lot of prison spouses do. Everybody I work with knows I can't miss his call, so it's fine if I run out on a conversation. What's worrying me now is that he was supposed to call 2 hours ago. I'm not super worried yet. I mean, if he got to medical, he may be there overnight for observation. And then maybe medical gave him a sleeping pill. Or he couldn't get a phone. Or the phones are down, or they're locked down. Or he just fell asleep, or he's dead. And I know I shouldn't go down that road, but imagine that every week, at least one day during the week, your loved one doesn't come home when they say they will, or you can't get a hold of them for a few hours when they should be available, and you have no way of contacting them. It's terrifying. You get used to it, but the anxiety is always there, and I'm not sure that's a good thing for the body. So we're just going to leave it here for this week. Tune in next time where I will probably either be a mess because something bad has happened or be completely fine because he was okay. As always, you're welcome, and I've been great.